Your Minister for State Enterprise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise to commend our good Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Finance, for bringing these much-needed amendments to the legislation, the different legislations. Mr. Speaker, in this country, we as a developing country need foreign investment. And for those who want to invest here, they want to be sure that any title that they are given, whether it be agricultural lease or even a state lease upon which they can build, for example, the titles themselves must be indefeasible, meaning that when they have a title on the face of it, no one should challenge it. And if titles have been obtained by fraud, then they can be set aside. For too long, we've had instances where in our very own land department, investors and even our own business people have been issued 3 or 4 different titles over the same land. And fortunately for all of us, under the leadership of our Deputy Prime Minister, this has slowly been improved and changed. And now what you see is that when you get a title from the Lands Department, you will know that there is only the only one title that you are receiving. So things look good for us. And Mr. Speaker, before the Land Act was passed in 1996, prior to the Land Act coming into force in 1996, all vacant land in this country belonged to the state. All vacant land, except those who were being cultivated and which were being hunted upon by our people. They were known as rights which our people had. But all vacant land belonged to our people, and that made it easier for developers to come in and to explore and to bring development. But these days we are beginning to see, for example, Mr. Speaker, where there is an element or there is an announcement that an oil discovery or prospecting is being done, all of a sudden you see people who emerge out of nowhere to claim to be landowners. And they cause issues for those investors to spend all their shareholders' money to pay for exploration costs. And in the case of mining and oil, for example, Mr. Speaker, it is not easy for one to spend money investing or exploring for things that cannot be found unless you are God. Means that you are actually risking shareholders' money. So it is good that we have this regime where foreign investors especially were able to raise money from the stock exchange and come in to invest. But they must, when doing so, they must know that they will not be interfered by so-called landowners who turn up unexpectedly and make claims and make it difficult for investors. So there is a need for there is indeed a delicate balancing act that we have to take into account. Those are the challenges that are facing us. But in the case of a 99-year lease, in Australia, all land belongs to the Crown. It is different here. In many ways, there are disadvantages with the system we have in here. But the fact that of those alienated land, only 3% of the land have state land, they begin to accrue or accumulate value over the years. But having a 99-year lease forms the basis of this country. Without a 99-year lease, and if we were to allow all the land to go back to our people upon the expiry of the 99-year lease, most of the towns will go back to the bushes. For example, from where I come from in Agen, my tribe is the owner of at least 50% of the land on which the city is located. If the land were to be given back to my tribe upon the expiry of the 99-year lease, I wonder what we will do with it. That is the question as leaders we have to bear in mind. 99-year leases that we have in our country form the basis of civilization and towns and cities. If a 99-year lease were to be withdrawn or given back to the landowners, you will not have a township of Aitape or Vanimo. Everything will go back to the bushes. We must be aware of that. And those leases will not go back to the owners, because at the time the land was acquired, whether it through normal acquisition or through force, the landowners at that time are no longer around. So you would be expecting someone who's not really a landowner to get that land. At that time, the landowner at that time sold the land to the colonial administration. So those are the difficulties we're having. But, Mr. Speaker, my suggestion is that somewhere down the line, all of us leaders need to ask ourselves whether we should go back to the system or the situation that existed in 1996, and that is to allow land, vacant land, which are not being cultivated by our people, which are not being used frequently for hunting purposes or ceremonial purposes, whether they should be given back to the state so that they can be used properly for development purposes. But I say it because it can be done only on the basis that the leaders who will come before us will be honest and strong leaders who will make sure there is equality in the way that land acquisition or disposal is dealt with. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.